So Call of Duty, guys, a game in which, and a franchise in which I've talked ad nauseum on my channel about one of my favorite franchises of all time, right? Just a game that in series that has been so consistent over the years, and it's quite remarkable what they've accomplished over at Activision, and with their different development teams making a new Call of Duty every year. A lot of times we think about it and you just, it's kind of something that you don't really think about much, but the fact that they have put out a game, AAA game every single year, best-selling game every single year, and sometimes it meets people's expectations. Most of the time, as of late, it has not met expectations because it's just the community is so big and it's hard to please everybody. Well, in this segment, guys, of the show, I want to talk about the future of Call of Duty. What does the future look like, and what does the future hold for the Call of Duty franchise? So let's talk about it. So, guys, I've mentioned many times on the channel as to my history with Call of Duty coming in COD 4. Right, that's when I started in Call of Duty, playing the campaign, got into the multiplayer side in Modern Warfare 2, and then it was Call of Duty at that point every single year. Loved it. We had the amazing years of Call of Duty. So I'm going to speak for when I started to where we are now, and then of course, you know, where I think we might be going. And I think that this is one of those conversations, guys, that we could have lots of conversations on, because I think there's a lot of different ways in which this series and different places that this series could go. So I believe, guys, and I've said this a number of times, so I'm not going to kind of, you know, repeat myself, but I believe that there was a 6-year stretch. I think it was 6 years, probably, like you had COD 4, Modern Warfare, you had MW2, you had World at War, you had Black Ops 1, you had Black Ops 2, you had, of course, MW3, and then Call of Duty Ghosts. So I would say about 6 years, okay? Because Call of Duty Ghosts, I don't really say that was necessarily in this 6-year stretch. I believe that 6-year stretch, I don't know if it'll ever be repeated in Call of Duty or in any game franchise ever again. It's a 6-year stretch that was, whether you like some of those games or not, it was some of the most remarkable games, whether you're talking campaign-wise, whether you're talking multiplayer-wise, whether you're just talking about, you know, people being repeat customers coming back to the franchise and playing the games year in and year out. Or if you didn't like the title, you went back to the old ones. You went back to COD 4. You went back to Modern Warfare 2. You went back to Black Ops 2 or one of these other titles, whichever one you really liked, right? So those were the golden ages. I call them the golden ages, those 6 years. Then you had Call of Duty Ghosts, which, look, I'm not going to say Ghosts was terrible. I'm going to say that I liked the campaign. I thought the campaign was great, and I want to see a continuation of Ghost 2, or of the first Ghost. I would like to see a Ghost 2, which I've made a video about on the channel, which you guys can check out. But I would like to see a continuation of it. But all in all, Call of Duty Ghosts was kind of, you know, people at this point, when we got to Call of Duty Ghosts, a lot of people were going back to the old titles. Everyone was going back to the old games, and people were like, we want change, and people were saying that over and over again. I'll never forget it. People in the Call of Duty community wanted change, and guess what happened? We got it. We got change, and it was definitely not what we were expecting, that being Advanced Warfare, and that being the Jetpack era, which I always called the dark ages of Call of Duty. Not Advanced Warfare, however. I don't say Advanced Warfare was, because at the time, if we're all being honest with ourselves and we remember correctly, we were all pretty excited about it. We were excited about Advanced Warfare. It was something different. It was like, oh shit, like, you know, jumping 20 feet in the air. You know, this seems pretty cool. And it was for a little while, and then it got kind of old, right? And we kind of went back to the other CODs. The problem, though, was that Activision didn't just greenlight one Jetpack game. They greenlit 3 of them. And so Activision greenlighting 3 of those meant that Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare would come and follow Advanced Warfare. And I believe those 2 games, even though starting with Advanced Warfare, led us into the dark ages of COD. A time in which, really 3 years, I mean, I would say about 2.5 years, that were just the dark times. It was just like, wow, people leaving the community. People absolutely did not appreciate like this Titanfall meets Halo and some kind of resemblance of Call of Duty within those titles. And so that's kind of where we were, was the golden ages. And then what happened, which was the dark ages. And then we get to, after Infinite Warfare, we lose so many people in the community. There's a lot of people leaving the community. Still is the best-selling game that year. Then we get World War II. And then World War II led us pretty much into what I believe is the comeback, is really, in my opinion, the resurrection of COD. So it started with World War II. And even though it wasn't great, the campaign was awesome. It was back to boots on the ground. That's what COD was built on, was boots on the ground, gritty type of warfare. Then we got Black Ops 4. My opinion, one of the best multiplayer Call of Duties that we've seen in the series. Obviously, I always put Black Ops 2 number 1, MW2 number 2. Black Ops 4 was third on the list for me. And then we had Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was the best campaign, in my opinion, that the entire Call of Duty franchise has seen to date. And it kind of stands right there with Black Ops 4. Two games that are, the only thing that Black Ops 4 lacked was a campaign, which really bothered me. But overall, I thought it was a great experience, nonetheless, because of Blackout. So those two games have brought us into basically the comeback of COD. Because I said this on a previous video, Call of Duty is back, and it's not even... the fact that people are still complaining about it is kind of mind-blowing to me. Even though Call of Duty, it's kind of just been a game that's been around for so long, it still feels like Call of Duty is definitely back at this point with some of these games. Now, the future of it, though. There are some people saying that they want jetpacks to come back. And I don't understand why people want to go back to that time period again, or want to go, kind of go back to that. I mean, some people say it's a fast movement. Some people just say that it's different again. I don't understand that. Now, the future of COD, I don't think they're going back to jetpacks anytime soon. At least I hope they're not. My thought process, and I'll bring Frankie into this, my process is that I actually think, and I've said this before, that the future of COD, to me, because they brought Modern Warfare, brought that out, but they kind of did a soft reboot of Modern Warfare, I think the same is going to be said for this year in Call of Duty in the form of Black Ops. I think it's going to be a soft reboot Black Ops. It's going to be Cold War, apparently, which is from the leaks. But that being said, we don't know for sure, obviously, what Black Ops 5 or what I think is going to just be called Call of Duty Black Ops, a soft reboot. And now that Sledgehammer is no longer a 3-year cycle, Sledgehammer's moved into Treyarch. They're now working with Treyarch, but they're doing the campaign, whereas Treyarch's doing the multiplayer of the new Black Ops game. I'm wondering if in 2021 we're going to see Modern Warfare again, but it's not going to be Modern Warfare 2 or like Modern Warfare 4 or something. It's just going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare that we have right now, but they're just going to add things to it. And then they're just going to go back and forth, rotating between Modern Warfare and Black Ops, their two most famous sub-series of the franchise, and they're just going to go back and forth. They'll add things, whether those are expansions or whatever. That's one scenario. Another is that they just keep making Modern Warfare titles and Black Ops titles. Another would be that they say, you know what? Let's do Advanced Warfare 2. Let's do Ghost 2. Let's do these different changes. Or let's kind of change it up once again. But Frankie, you kind of see what's going on with Call of Duty. You've played Call of Duty for a number of years now. What do you think the future holds for the franchise? Do you think we're going to keep getting... Actually, before we even get to that, what's kind of your brief history on COD, and where do you think it's going now? And what would you like to see? Would you like to see a rotation between Modern Warfare and Black Ops? Would you like to see kind of changes, like new IPs within the Call of Duty sub-franchise or sub-series? What do you want to see, and what do you think the future holds for it?
Yeah, so I guess just touching on some of the stuff as far as your history, I just kind of was thinking um, a couple thoughts on that. First of all, I feel like I'm in the minority who thought Ghost was pretty good. Mainly campaign wise, I think its multiplayer had a lot of issues, and that's why it's mainly looked down on. But I'm always surprised to hear how terrible people thought the campaign was. It's
Oh
always
no, that is a disgrace. It's absolute blasphemy. The campaign was great. I would love to see a continuation of it. You're right about the multiplayer. The thing about the multiplayer was there was like really only one or two maps I enjoyed. I liked Strike Down. I think was the main one I really liked. It was okay, but it just it didn't meet the expectation of what we thought with like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 and in titles like that. But I agree with you. I think that the campaign was was great. And the ending, I mean, like, talk about a cliffhanger, dude. Like, the very end of that campaign, it was like, I want to play, I want to see where this goes from here. You know what I mean?
yep. And if I'm not misthinking, it also like it was that cliffhanger, and then it was like Eminem came on with just an amazing track.
Oh, dude,
That
I
was the
forgot
credits,
about that. Yeah.
and it
Yep.
was just like, oh man, I felt so. It was like such an epic
Yeah.
finish. I thought. But yeah, so I've been looking forward to that, and I really hope that they at least kind of try to wrap up. I mean, you don't kind of leave a cliffhanger like that without wrapping up sometime. But I mean, who knows? Because my thing is, I'm gonna kind of tangle things up here because as far as the future, I would like to see just like a new title, something out of Black Ops and Modern Warfare. Um, Obviously, a Ghost 2 would be awesome, but even just something completely original. But yeah, as far as other past stuff, I think you kind of hit everything like that. Those were kind of the best games in that 6 year span, and then they kind of got off of the boots on the ground, which I think sometimes they just like developers want to change things up, they want to evolve. I mean, you could probably say the same thing for Halo. You know, once they started adding armor abilities, and that's kind of stayed in through the series since Reach. You know, so I think that they want to try to evolve it, but they kind of move too far away from the core of what it is because when I think Call of Duty, I want a fast paced run around, you know, killing the enemies real fast, you know, doing a bunch of stuff just really fast paced on the ground. And I get that like the jetpacks and movement were fast, but it's just not the same. You know, if I wanted to do that, why wouldn't I go play something like Titanfall, which in my opinion is far superior? Those games are so underrated and they should be so much bigger. And I hope when they release a new one, if they do, that EA does it justice because they sort of messed with Titanfall 2 by releasing it with Battlefield at like the same time. Um, but
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
so
on that note, before you move on, I mean, do you think, even though, like, just really quick, off topic, but the Titanfall, since you brought that up, do you think Apex Legends would help Titanfall sell better? Like, do you think that Titanfall, even though Apex is, technically, in that same universe, because of the success of Apex, do you think it would make Titanfall? Do you think it's helping Titanfall get bigger, or do you think it's just because it's a free to play game that it's got pretty good viewership? It had really great viewership for a while. I would love to have gotten into Apex. I just was not good at the game at all. But do you think it would like help Titanfall get? Do you think it's helping it grow that fan base, or do you think Apex is just kind of separate totally from Titanfall?
no, I think that they're gonna intertwine it. I think it's gonna help it a lot. I mean, I've actually heard a few different people who said they never played Titanfall, and then they go over and they're like, "Holy crap, this is the same gun I've been using in Apex," because they are all the same guns, and they feel the same. And I mean, most of the game just feels the same. The movement and everything. I mean, obviously they're a little different, but uh, yeah, I really think that it's going to help that game, and I really hope that they kind of push that because like I said, I don't think if you want to do jetpacking and wall running and stuff like that, I think Titanfall if I want the absolute best experience. And I mean, they even made ways to not have to use Titans, like it was just like a pilot versus pilot. So you kind of had, like, what I'm getting at is I could see people saying, "Oh, like I don't want giant mechs in my shooter." Well, they kind of had a way to not do that. But um, back to Call of Duty, uh, I just think as far as the future goes, they should probably try to do some new stuff. I think they should stick to boots on the ground, in my opinion. I hope they do. Another thing with Call of Duty that I would like to see is them find a way to streamline their battle royale. Because first of all, I just can't believe we still don't have a Modern Warfare based map for Call of Duty battle royale. And I really think they screwed up by not making uh, Black, oh, sorry, its own standalone that they would update or add maps to. Um, because now they've sort of separated it, and I really don't know what the future is. And the thing is, you might say battle royales are kind of, on the downtrend, but I really think there's always a place for it. And I also think that you do something like a Modern Warfare based one, and you're gonna get a lot of fans of that to play. Like I like Blackout, I like Black Ops games, but I love Modern Warfare games, and just I remember the map so vividly in Modern Warfare. I want to run around in favela, in a big giant map and stuff like that. So I hope that they kind of find a way to streamline that. I mean, you look at all these other ones and they have microtransactions. I just feel like they should have a standalone, and whether the studios just cooperate with each other or what, I don't know. But that's just kind of on the side. I hope they do that. And then, like I said, stick to boots on the ground. Try some brand new IP, not IPs, but like brand new names, brand new um, ideas for COD that don't bring you into the future and jump around and stuff with jetpacks, but at least kind of give you something. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. It's just hard to imagine that we keep getting Modern Warfare and Black Ops. Let's see, like some sort of evolution in the storyline. And then I don't know. Hopefully, they just kind of stick to that boots on the ground, streamlined gameplay, and I'll be happy because that's what I want when I get on a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on it. I don't agree with you on the Titanfall. So, I mean, do you like Titanfall more than the Call of Duty franchise? Is that what you were saying? Or you just like have like a better experience playing Titanfall than COD, like overall? Because I mean, for me personally, I don't think that there's any comparing a Titanfall campaign to a Call of Duty campaign. I mean, especially after playing like Modern Warfare. Now, maybe some of them, weren't that great of campaigns, but Titanfall certainly. I'm with you on that. It's been a it's been a very big missed opportunity. I think that they're making up for it with Apex because when we look on places like Twitch and just overall popularity of Apex, I mean, it's bigger than as far as viewership is concerned than Call of Duty and such. Like on some of these streaming platforms, which is a pretty big that's a pretty big deal. Do you think it's because of the quality of the game, or do you think it's more so because of it being free to play?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just the battle royale genre. Um, but yeah, as far as Titanfall, I guess to clarify, I just mean, well, first of all, the first Titanfall didn't have, I mean, its campaign was basically multiplayer, co-op
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
true.
thing. But the second campaign was actually one of the best campaigns like in any game I played. No, I'm not saying like beats the best COD ones, but um, I'm just saying as far as the Titanfall experience, if I want to play with jetpacks and that sort of thing, I would rather play that than go on COD and have jetpacks. When I get on COD, I like a certain experience. So it's like get on COD, I get this experience. Titanfall, I get that experience, and that's pretty much what I meant.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm with you on it. I think that you hit it on the head as far as the boots on the ground. I think that that's really important. Because I agree with you. Like, I think that Vince Zampella, that was his thing. Like, look, he went to Titanfall, and I understand that, the fallout between him and Infinity Ward and Activision, but it doesn't sound like it was very pretty. But nonetheless, he goes and does his own thing. And apparently, there was rumor that he wanted MW3, Modern Warfare 3, when he was over at Infinity Ward still. He wanted that to have jetpacks and wall running and stuff. And so when he went over, he, of course, the fallout that happened between him and Activision, and Infinity Ward, he got Titanfall made, and Titanfall, there you have it. That's basically, was his Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 that he wanted to make, except it was Titanfall, and obviously a different universe and such. But then Call of Duty or Activision decided, well, let's do something like what they're doing, because it's kind of grown a little bit in popularity. So they decided to make Advanced Warfare. Now, obviously, I'm stating that, guys. I'm not saying that that's definitely what happened. Like they were thinking, oh yeah, we definitely have to copy what he's doing. It just kind of felt that way. Did you feel that way too, Frankie?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought, oh, they're looking at that. They think that's how it needs to evolve. And I mean, honestly, what you said is true, that they wanted Modern Warfare. He wanted Modern Warfare 3 to be like that. I guess I don't know how I feel. I mean, I suppose he would have done it really good. I feel like, because if it ended up like Titanfall, then sure. But I guess if I went back, I probably wouldn't change it. I like the fact that he went and made Titanfall as a separate thing, and COD stuck to it how it was. Or, well, obviously they added new stuff, but um, I guess it's hard to. You kind of blew my mind there. Now I'm kind of thinking, what if he would have
Well,
made
dude, that's the thing, dude.
that?
That's my biggest thing on on the 8 Below show is the what if factor. Like, what if like one thing would have happened? Because I mean, no, I mean you were saying earlier, Vince is a dude. He's a real. I think he's really starting to show that he has got true. I mean, like just a he's got a real vision for what he wants. He's starting to kind of, in a way, a different type of way. He's kind of he's reminding me of like a even though Hideo Kojima does things, has very different types of worlds that he creates and things like that. Vince is kind of reminds me a little bit of those ambitious kinds of projects, but he also kind of reminds me of like a Kevin Feige, who was he's the basically the head guy over at Marvel, who essentially was the one who put together the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it, and we all know how good that looked from Iron Man to where we are right now. It's absolutely unbelievable. Vince Zampella, even though I'm not going to go as far as to say that he's like a Kevin Feige in the video game industry, but I'm going to say that this guy has created some incredible projects up to this point. Any game that he creates or has his handprint on at whatsoever, I'm definitely going to be checking those things out, and there's just no debate about that. But with that being said, guys, we definitely want to hear from all of you. What do you guys think the future of Call of Duty is? You think we're going back to the jetpacks? Do you think that we're going to be, futuristic back in the past? Do you guys think that we're going to be kind of alternating between Modern Warfare and Black Ops? Do you think we're going to have some new stuff come in? Or do you think we're going to have some of those old fun titles like Advanced Warfare and Ghosts? What do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts.